remembering those that perished on the sinking of the RMS Titanic on April 15, 1912. The following information of facts and statistics were obtained from the internet. Facts. The estimated people that died in the sinking were 832 passengers and 685 crew members. 53.4% of the victims could have been saved if they would have gotten into the lifeboats. Colonel John Jacob Astor IV was the wealthiest passenger on board and believed to be one of the richest people in the world at the time. His estimated fortune was valued between $90 and $150 million. A total of 9 days were spent searching for survivors. 2,396 people made claims from the Titanic Relief Fund. The total number of crew members on board were 908 and 696 of them perished. 50% of the crew members' pay was given to the families as a relief payment. The final settlement for all outstanding legal claims paid out by White Star Lines was $664,000. In 1959, the Titanic Relief Fund came to an end. The remaining balance was transferred into annuities or to the Shipwreck Fishermen and Mariners Royal Benevolent Society. Actor Dorothy Gibson, who was aboard the Titanic and survived, starred in a film called Saved from the Titanic. It was released just 1 month after the ship sank. Institutionalized and survivors that took their own lives. Although the exact numbers are not known, several of the survivors were institutionalized after the sinking, and many took their own lives. Frank Goldsmith, as a child, survived the sinking. Trauma followed him throughout his life. He could not bear the sound of a cheering crowd, as it reminded him of the screams from the disaster. J. Bruce Ismay, the chairman of the White Star Lines, became recluse and was noted to be in like a zombie state for a time after the rescue. Dr. Washington Dodge was rescued from the Titanic, and the experience severely impacted him. On June 30, 1919, he died from a gunshot wound to the head he had inflicted 9 days earlier. He was entangled in a lawsuit that he felt reflected his honor. John Morgan Davis. He was 8 years old when he boarded the Titanic with his parents. John's mother survived the sinking, but his father did not. Following a divorce, John died on December 16, 1951 through a barbiturate overdose. Frederick Fleet was the lookout in the Titanic, who first spotted the iceberg. He always claimed that if he had binoculars that night, the collision would have been avoided. Frederick's wife passed away in December 1964, and his brother-in-law then evicted him from his home. On January 10, 1965, Frederick hung himself on a clothesline in the garden. Frederick always kept his papers from the White Star Line, which had the note stating, "Discharged at sea." Dr. Henry William Frauenthal jumped into the lifeboat. His 250-pound heft broke the ribs of a woman beneath him. On March 11, 1927, the doctor jumped from the 7th floor of the hospital building. His wife Clara Frauenthal spent 16 years of her life in a sanitarium for depression following her husband's death. Juha Niskanen was a 39-year-old third-class passenger. He took his own life on August 13, 1927. He set his cabin on fire, depressed over his failure to find gold. Phyllis May Quick was married and had 4 children. She shot herself in the head at her home in Detroit on March 15, 1954. Annie Robinson was a stewardess on the Titanic. 6 months after the sinking, she threw herself overboard from the steamship Devonian after hearing its foghorn blow in Boston Harbor. Jack Thayer was 17 years of age when he boarded the Titanic. His mother survived, but his father did not. He became a successful banker in Philadelphia. After the death of one of his sons, killed during World War II, he took his own life on September 18, 1945. He slashed his wrists and throat. These people survived the greatest sinking of all time, and to end their own life was a very selfish act. So many people on board the Titanic wanted to live, but they didn't get that chance. May everyone that was on board the Titanic rest easy. You will never be forgotten. If you like this content, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel at MeTime806. Thank you very much.